Hi, team. Welcome to the session on Coffee with Prab. And today we have a special guest, and her name is Miss Aparna Pathak, and she's a global privacy specialist. One thing which is basically I like about the Aparna Pathak is basically about her content she basically posts and the way she drive the content of privacy on LinkedIn. It was really amazing. So it is basically honor for us. It is basically a opportunity for us to to have a session from Aparna ma'am and on the discussion on how the privacy works, what is privacy management system, and privacy controls that is required in the enterprise. And this from this particular session, at least you get a visibility about what is privacy, what is system, and how the privacy works in the organization. And I would like to thanks Aparna ma'am for this particular opportunity that okay, she able to take out the time from a busy schedule for this weekend session. I know weekend is always a busy for everyone, and taking out the time for this noble cause, I truly appreciate, ma'am. And I'm really happy that you are part of this session, and I'm sure from this particular session, the people get the better visibility about the privacy. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Prab. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be part of this session. And privacy is very close to me. I am passionate about privacy and helping everyone understand what it takes to be compliant with the privacy is what I do in my work also. So thank you, Prab, for this opportunity.
Welcome, ma'am. So, ma'am, just need to understand. As you said that okay, privacy is a passion. Privacy is your passion. What make you to move ahead in a privacy? Because as I can see your career transition. Okay, so I can see you have seen the lot of career transition from the IT to the privacy or project to the privacy. What make you to go with the in the privacy field? What make you attract toward this privacy? What make you passionate about the privacy?
Sure. So it's also an interesting story, Prab. When I was at onsite and I was planning to come back to India, I had posted some ad on one of the websites. And there I got immediately responses, yes, you can sell your car. We don't want to come and see your car. We are just giving you a check and you can encash it and somebody will pick up the car. I was
Okay.
very, very happy. Okay. And after a few days, I said, okay, let me post few more articles that I had to
Uh-huh.
sell. And similar things were coming. We will send you a cash, send you a check, and we will get the thing. We don't want to see what the product is. And
Okay.
that's when my pulse actually clicked. And I realized it was a fraud. People were
Hmm.
using fake names. They were conning people, and
Hmm.
they were taking my data and then creating a lot of uncomfortable moments for me. And that's when I
Oh, okay.
felt that this is where people are having that identity theft also. And that's
Okay.
where I was interested into compliance, security, privacy, and also how these incidents can be investigated. So that's a
Wow.
little bit of where I got pulled into privacy.
So it is started with some incident that is a lesson that you learn and that make you inspire. Okay, it's like giving back to the society about how things works, and that is why I can see in your content also the way you basically drive the content. Okay, so this is the major reason. I thought you learn some topic and you learn from those topic and you get the passionate about things. So, but it means you learn from some incidents which basically make you inspire that okay, yes, people should be aware about that, right?
That's true.
Wow, that's really amazing. So, ma'am, how you started your privacy journey? Like you started with some kind of resources or what exactly? So it can be useful for the aspiring candidates who preparing for their career in privacy. Like how you started your career in privacy? What is your take for your
Honestly,
learners?
so reading the law is one of the things. So tomorrow, if any new law comes, I request everybody to read about it, understand what each word in that law means. Because after spending 5 years here, I realized that every word in the law has a meaning. Whether they say may, should, could, put, whatever they want to put, it has a meaning. So started from there, understanding the entire journey of the data. So right from where it gets collected to how it gets retired. So that is how I started applying those principles into what is to be done. And
Okay,
very, very honestly, it's a common sense that has to be applied. There is a business outcome that is expected, and there is a user expectation that needs to be maintained and respected. So that is where I think bringing all these blocks together and having a compliant solution is what I started learning about it. The
okay.
other thing that we started doing was questioning. Whenever somebody says, okay, we want to do this, the first question is, why do you want to do it? And
Hmm.
asking those questions, why from business perspective, risk perspective, a user perspective, and also from a law perspective, saying, how is it going to be compliant to the law? So that is
Okay.
how I started getting more into the topic by asking questions. I think that is how I learned. After that, I also completed my CIPPE certification, which gave me more insight into how the certifications are done, what kind of knowledge they are bringing, what is the history of the GDPR and also the human rights and all. Then I completed my CIPM, which is on the privacy management program, to understand different building blocks of privacy,
Okay.
right from data discovery to your retention to audit assessments, how a regulator is going to look at privacy demonstrability. That is one.
Okay.
Second, for organizations is to say that we respect your data and get that trust back from the users. What are different things have to be done? That is where the CIPM came very handy for me. And
Wow.
obviously, there are a lot of webinars that happen throughout the year with multiple forums. So I tried participating in them, learning from people, practitioners, and definitely bigger part is learning from the lawyers themselves. So legal team has been a great support to help us understand those nuances of requirements.
Okay. So your recommendation is that if someone is newbie into the privacy, if you have a friend list, at least one person should be from legal uh, department because he can basically
Definitely.
guide you about how the privacy and legal is basically works.
Yeah. So I keep
That's
telling
good.
these people my job is kind of a matrimony management. Okay. There is a legal team, there is a IT team, and I'm sitting in
Okay.
between having my marriage happily ever after because IT doesn't understand legal language. Legal will say, okay, I don't know what IT wants to do. And there is a
Uh,
third pillar, business outcome and the leadership. So having
okay.
all these people come together for a grand success is what I do.
So, do you recommend any books to start? Like, do you recommend any resources to our newbies that who wish to, start their career in privacy or they want to start? It's not about only the making a career, but if someone has a passionate about like the way you have faced the incident and they want to
Mhm.
be a serious for that. So, do you suggest any resources for them to understand the privacy and all that? Any books or anything which can be useful?
So there are multiple books. I think two, three books are very good, which go deep into the subject on how
Oh,
things to be done. But if
okay.
you want to first read about the resources, I think IIPP is a great source of information. There are
Okay.
similar law firms who have the content available on their websites. And other thing is also looking at how the incidents are happening across the world. Say GDPR resources, GDPR enforcement tracker is also there. So those are the key areas where you start learning and reading about it. And then you can see whether you want to invest in a book to go deeper into the subject if you are implementing it. So if
Okay.
you just want to understand what is privacy, I would suggest first read about the law. The law text is already available. Then read about the lot of tech content that people are posting on IAPP or other websites that are available. Attend webinars, which will help you gain expert understanding. And fourth is to understand from the breaches itself how the
Okay.
enforcement, what are the options they found, what are the things were lacking, and try to learn from there.
Wow. This is something which is missing. I've seen in a lot of videos. They start giving sessions on, okay, read this book and that book. And one thing I like about the pointer which you have suggested, Aparna, like regarding instead of starting with what is privacy, first understand what is law. Because by end of the day,
Yeah,
law is the one which is our enforcement authority.
correct, correct.
Everything is coming within the law only. So anything which is outside the law, it doesn't matter, but make sure whatever the activities we are doing, it should be based on the law, because by end of the day it's a human right. In some countries privacy is considered
Correct.
as a human right, and
Yeah.
breaching
And we
someone's
are all
privacy is offensive crime. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but we are doing it for two reasons. One, definitely you have to respect the law of the land and you have to be compliant. And second, you have to respect the users who is giving you business and
Okay.
trusting you with their data. So these are the
Okay.
two main requirements for the organizations. And hence,
Okay.
understanding the law of the land is very important.
Great. Great. So, Aparna, like we just need to understand, if I am a privacy consultant or I am a consultant, okay, I want to start a privacy in the organization. So it is
Mhm.
always even I was searching for this content in Google and all that, how to start a privacy system, privacy
Mhm.
in the organization. So is it
Okay.
possible? Can you just spare your next 10 minutes or 5 minutes, which give the
Yeah,
visibility to the subscribers and learners about how to start privacy system in the organization? It can be useful for the interview prep also. So if the question is how to start privacy system or privacy in the organization, so what is the
mhm.
basically micro steps or high level steps on a high level?
Sure. So when you say privacy system, I will probably call it a privacy program because
Yeah,
systems people generally say, no, it's a technology part of it, so which I'll
yeah.
come. But if you want to start a privacy program in your organization, I will talk about three pillars. One definitely is people.
Hmm.
Now, people are your strength as well as a weakness. So
Okay.
you need to help people understand what is privacy. And I think a lot of people have this question when they talk to me saying privacy and security and all. So I'll come to that. But people is the first area, then comes process, and then comes technology. So I'll take one by one. So on people side, first we have to make sure that all the stakeholders in the organization, right from your senior leaders to the junior person, is aware of why privacy and what are the different principles of privacy and what it means for them, what it means for an organization, and what it means for your customer when they are coming for privacy compliance. So, creating that continuous awareness is very, very important for the organization because people keep on moving, you will have new people coming in. So, this privacy awareness is very important, like we do for security also.
Okay.
And when I say people are the strongest and the weakest link, because there are many incidents, about 90% of incidents in 2019 in UK, they were because of human errors. Now,
Okay.
if you were to send an email to Prab and you send it to somebody else and you had their passport information and all, it causes a breach. So that
True.
is where it is very important from a people perspective.
Hmm.
People are also creator and consumers. So you may create a technology solution to collect information automatically, but you are also consumer of that data and information for some other business purpose. So that's why we have to look at both the parties saying, if I were in that shoe, what will be my reaction? And that is how you have to
Okay.
create the solution. So it is purpose was people. Coming to process, the leadership will have to identify the program owner and they will have to be empowered with resources to drive it across the organization. And that is where they will have to form the intent, which is the privacy policy that you see on many of the websites, privacy policy, privacy notice, and the processes that will drive the organizational intent. So that is where
Okay.
the strategy part will come in play. The next level comes is the tactical where we focus on what. Now, in an organization, there will be HR function, finance function, marketing function. You will have a product teams. You will have many other different business units which will be there. So, from a tactical perspective, you will identify what is the scope. Is everything under the umbrella is under scope, or it is only where the PI is getting processed, personal information is getting processed. So in the short term, if you have a deadline coming, what are the things to be done? So focus on that scope definition and within that function, what is it that you want to do to align to the strategic direction. Right?
Okay.
The third one comes operational, and this is the most important one. Let's assume we want to create a website or a mobile app. So this is where your focus is on how and where you have to apply these principles.
Okay.
And for each new person, now if you say, okay, Prab, go and deploy a privacy compliance in mobile app development. Now you will have to have some process procedure to say, okay, for privacy compliance, I want to do A, B, C, D, E. That is your procedure document at an operational level. So
Okay.
for each function, each subunit, sub functions, you may want to create those operational guidance for the team. This is all coming under process. You are just
Okay.
defining the process, who should do, what should do, why they are doing it, and how each of these things have to be aligned to the intent which we defined in the strategic one, right? So this is all from the definition perspective. The third pillar that I have is the technology. Now, while I put it up under technology, it is also data that is not covered or taken through a digital platform. If
Okay.
suppose I go to an organization and they give me a form saying fill up this form, this is a paper form, and you are a visitor, give your email address, your phone number, and a paper copy is given.
Okay.
That also is considered under technology umbrella, which I'm talking about. So in this technology pillar, you have to look at privacy by design. For all the data collection points that you have, why are you collecting? Do you really need this collection? How are you going to store? Where are you going to keep it? How long you are going to retain it? So the entire life cycle journey of data is where you will have to question and implement that operational guidance, tactical guidance, and strategic guidance through the development cycle that you have. So
Okay.
let's take this example I was talking about. I go to a bank and I say I want to take a loan. Now bank will say, give me your Aadhaar card, give me your PAN card, give me your XYZ and all those things. Now as a bank, I have to question, do I really need Aparna's mother's grandfather's name,
And purpose
right?
of the information mean like purpose of the information.
Very right. So each point that development is done, it is done. The privacy principles have to be applied. For all these definitions and everything that you have to conduct a privacy impact assessment. Now, most of the people call it a PIA, DPIA, and all. But what it means is by processing this information in this way for this purpose, what is the risk to the user? So, is it identity theft is your risk, or is it your financial area? I mean, you might have to pay some amount. All those things have to be taken into consideration when you do a DPI. So
So
many
when
of the times,
PIA is more like a preventative control, we can say like that. Like we talk about the justification why we are collecting this information. Can we say like that? It's more like a preventative action we are taking, or it is more like a
it's
detective reaction. Yeah.
it is not a preventive action, it is a discovery action and remediation. So
Okay.
many of the regulations like GDPR and all, they demand and say that you have to conduct a risk assessment. So you are capturing the risks to the processing. Let me take this
Okay.
example. Uh, when you visit a website, you collect data through cookies.
Okay.
Now, collecting data through cookies, you can identify person and identify the behaviors of the users.
Yeah.
Now, if I identify Prab's behavior and say Prab is only going to security website and now I can recommend him,
Hmm.
tomorrow you may not be interested in that, but your profile gets created and you start getting calls from some other company saying, I have this position, I have that offering and all. Your data is getting misused. Now, what is the risk involved and how do I protect your risk? Saying yes, I can probably ask Prab to give me a consent before I drop the cookies. And you implement a control to protect your data. So that is where the DPIA will help you assess the risk, put in the controls to remediate and reduce that risk. So
Okay.
that is important whenever we are doing the personal data processing. And it's not that you will have to do it for every data collection. Under GDPR, there are certain 9 conditions which says if you are collecting data of children, or if you are doing systematic monitoring, or any automated processing, automated decision you are doing, you have to do a risk assessment. Right? So this technology part is taking your awareness, taking your policies, processes, and implementing at a ground level how each person has to develop. Now, this is from a actual processing perspective. Now, you may also say we are talking about privacy program. So, how do I monitor the privacy program? How do I
Yeah.
know that I have created records of processing activity? if somebody comes as auditor or regulator comes to me, how do I show them that I have done these things? So for that, I think there are multiple technology solutions in the market which you can use. Obviously, your organization will be unique and you may not be directly be able to take that entire system. You may have to configure it for yourself. But having a system based approach for capturing your records of processing activities, having a incident management, recording all the incidents, handling the data subject rights, and then ensuring all these functions that you have, the processes that they have, you are capturing their compliance percentages and remediation percentages, identifying what all the risks are there, what is the status of the risk, monitor those risks over a period of time, and keep on reviewing each of those risk assessments. So that is
Okay.
where this piece of system that you said, privacy systems, form I would say, circle around whatever your privacy program is. And once you do a privacy program, it is not a one time activity. You can't say, I have done it and I have dusted it. It will have to be continuously monitored for the new changes that are coming in, new information that you want to collect. And with a lot of now metaverse, AI, blockchain, the new technology solutions also will have to be reviewed for privacy. So you will have to create this circle of process, people, technology, and keep on reinventing or going through that cycle every now and then. So that is how
Okay.
the privacy program has to be built in. So
Okay.
it's a change. It is here to stay, and it has to be added to the culture for every organization. So it
Okay.
cannot be forgotten after completed.
Okay. So, ma'am, can we say, like, if I summarize the privacy management process, the first step will be like understanding the business requirement. Sorry, understand the law or understand the business requirement. Like, so first we go with the business requirement understanding, and then we map with the legal regulatory requirement.
Yeah.
Is it how it works?
So it will
If
have
I
to
say
be
summary
handy.
here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you will first have to understand the business requirement definitely, but you
Okay.
will also have to say for which country or a region that you are going to apply,
Yeah.
and then take a look at the law, and then
Hmm.
have that comparison saying under this regulation is this possible to be done.
Okay.
And it is always starting with that concept, not even business requirement. At a concept level you do it, then you have the business requirements, then you go through the design, development, deployment, verification, and then continuously monitoring.
Okay. So how what is the challenge, as a privacy specialist, you guys are faced when you implementing a privacy system in the organization? Sorry if I
Mhm.
ask you this question, but because it's
Yes,
normally happen, like, any kind of because see, when you're introducing a privacy as a activity or privacy as an initiative or any kind of initiative, sometimes it make people discomfort, right? Like, recently when the amendment of GDPR happened, every website where you browse, it asking for accept as a cookie or not. It was not like that before GDPR amendment. So any kind of a change we introduce, some changes are basically introduced for the positive reason, some are introduced for negative reason, some make them comfortable. Live example, in India we have a co-win portal. You know that, right? You just enter the number, you get the OTP, and based on that you can schedule the things. But one number is linked with 3 or 4 application, which make the functionality better, but from a privacy and security point of view, it is not a secure thing. So when we talking about privacy system, when we talking about privacy functions, what is the challenge as a privacy specialist you face, as a global privacy specialist you face? Like, do you face any challenge, or they go with your requirement understanding and all that?
oh yeah, this is definitely a day-to-day challenge, I would say.
Uh,
Uh, it's again the stakeholders who are involved,
hmm,
making them understand why we are asking certain question and why privacy is important. So when
Clarity
a
is
person
required.
comes, yeah, so basically first reaction is privacy is stopping. It's stopping our business.
That's
It's
true.
not allowing the
That's
process.
that's true.
Now we have to change that mindset. So mindset is the first challenge that we face. After that, when we explain them why we want to do and probe more questions, I think that's when they start appreciating it. So
Any cheat sheet?
making people
Any cheat sheet? Any cheat sheet to get the management buy-in from Aparna?
sorry, can you come again?
I'm saying that any cheat sheet you have that by which we can have a management buy-in on the privacy management system, you can
I
share.
think that has to be your first
Great
step
secret. Yeah.
to management buying. So without that, even the program will not be there. But yes,
Yeah.
helping people understand why we are asking certain things and not to be seen as person stopping it, but how are we making it better for the
Okay.
organization, for the customers, and also for the compliance. I think
Hmm.
that is where the balance has to be met. And when people
Okay.
start looking at that you are trying to help them and ensuring that business objectives are also met, but with a better control, then I think you will not get challenges. But uh, as I said, changing that mindset of people, saying
Is the most important.
it is important, and they have to appreciate it.
Okay. So, just need to understand, Aparna, like, thanks for giving this overview about the privacy management system. Like, as we discussed earlier, also, like, do you suggest that, okay, we should, if someone making a career in privacy, okay, do you suggest to go for certification, or, without certification also the people get a job, and what kind of a job opportunities, people can basically look for when they moving ahead in a privacy sector?
See, many times people think to enter into privacy, they need to have legal background.
Okay.
Many people think that to enter into privacy, they need to have a security background.
Hmm.
While these will be helpful, but they are not mandatory. Because at the end of the day, you need to understand what is required and how it can be enabled. So if someone is starting their journey in privacy, don't feel that you don't have a law degree or you don't have a security background or you don't have an IT background.
Hmm.
You will have to understand or make people understand why privacy. So you can go for certification, but I would suggest don't directly jump into certifications because there will be jargons, there will be a lot of things that you might feel not right based on your experience. So I would say spend some time in a privacy program or shadow with the people who are working in privacy so that you understand certain nuances of development cycle, you understand some nuances of business requirements and their objectives, and you also understand some things from a legal side saying why this has to be done in certain way because of the law requirement. I think
Okay.
after that, going for certification will be easier for you because then you will be able to relate certain things.
Hmm.
So you can start reading the books on certification, but after spending some time, I think it becomes easier for you to appreciate what is mentioned in those certification, and then it will add more value to you. I think that
Great.
would be my guidance.
So, and the most important thing, what I understood, like, from your experience, also the mindset is very important. Mindset and interest, because the incident which happened with you, which basically make you realize that, okay, yeah, so this is something is a opportunity someone has exploited, and this can be addressed by this information, and let me try this area, because interest and mindset is the most important thing for a survival, or for if you're looking for the long time as a perspective, as a privacy, or any career, the mindset, and I'm sure mindset plus creativity, or your interest for that subject is most important thing.
And as you go
But
through this journey, you will also have to keep on upgrading your knowledge. Because
hmm,
when China PIPL came, people have to understand what is the law and what are the requirements from there. So, likewise, as a privacy professional, you will have to read and understand so that you can advise others. So, there will be
okay,
many people coming to you and asking, just give us the answer, and every problem that will come to you will be very different from the previous one. So you will have to apply the contextual knowledge that you have. You'll have to understand the context in which the certain things are happening, and then use your knowledge of certifications, programs, and the laws to give them a right solution. So
great.
I won't say it is easy, and I won't say it
Mhm.
is difficult. It is what you will have to enable the business to be privacy compliant.
That's a great point. And do you suggest any tips and tricks for the users? I'm not talking about like not the professionals who want to make a career in privacy. There was a question from my side, and one of the subscriber has asked me that, okay, if possible, you can ask from Aparna. A small general tips. Do you wish to suggest from a privacy point of view to the layman user? Normally, like, in our family, we have elder people, normal non-IT people. So do you have any suggestion? Do you have any tips for them? How they basically, maintaining the privacy in terms of using of their social medias and all that? Do you have any last pointers to be share on this point? It will be grateful. It's like a giving back to the society. Yeah.
Yeah. I think many a times people think something is free and I can just click on it. So I always tell my mom, just don't download anything. Be
Yeah.
careful what you are downloading, why you are downloading, and all. And a lot of people share their information very freely just because it is marked. They don't understand why certain things are required. So whenever you are going to any shop, also nowadays, people go to shops and they say, "Give me your mobile number for generating the bill." And I can tell you from my experience, I have denied all the cases, and they say, "Okay," and they will generate the bill. But as a layman, whenever somebody is asking your data, you just understand, ask them why. I think once you ask them why and you are convinced that they have a valid purpose, you can give your data.
Very good point. So ask a why we are collecting the information. If the justification makes sense, you can proceed for
Yeah,
the next. That's a very good
yeah,
point that you have raised. Normally, I have seen also a lot of outlets basically say, okay, to track your bills in the later stage, if you want to refund, they ask for they say, okay, we need your number and all that. That's a very good point. And the next day onwards, you start getting
yeah.
emails and the messages from that same vendor. Yeah. Any tips for
And
the
one,
link and any tips for social media and for the children's from the privacy point of view, the parents who watching this video and might be useful for them for their children's privacy? Do you have any suggestion for them, Aparna?
for children, it is very important that parents look at what the apps children are downloading, what they are doing, and have those controls wherein they can verify what data is collected and on a periodic basis clean up all those apps, clean up your histories and all those things, and be careful where are you giving your children's data. I think it is very important for you to keep track of that information. And for
That's very
elderly people, I would also say the same thing. Elders are nothing but grown-up child. So you will have to ensure what they are doing also have to be monitored and verified.
yes. And we say in security, the human is the weakest link in the organization. No matter you have a
Yeah,
great technology, great process in place, one wrong click can bring the organization in trouble.
yeah,
So by the continuous learning, they can able to improve the knowledge, and by this way, we can able to improve them as a control in the organization.
sure.
It's a
And I
great
think
point.
once
So
India bill comes, we will have more controls in India also. And I'm really looking
that's true.
forward to that.
That's true. So any last point, any summary you would like to share with our learners before we finishing of this session?
Yeah, as I would say, privacy is a journey. So it's not one-stop shop. It's not going to solve all your problems. You will have to keep on learning it and implementing it. Sometimes you may have challenges, but there are ways, there are guidances available wherein you can overcome those challenges and be compliant to the law. And compliance to the local regulations is a requirement whenever you are starting your business, whenever you are in the business and trying to come up with a new technology. So I would say it's a new way of working. After COVID, we had new way of working, but after privacy laws, it's a new way of doing business and building the trust. I think
That's true.
you just have to embrace privacy.
Yeah. Thank you, Aparna, for this session. I don't know about others, but for me, I found this session is very informative, and the same thing I was researching from last 6 months. But in the 30 minutes of this session, you have given me the complete idea. Trust me, I haven't seen any kind of video which explain about in this detail how the privacy program works, and sharing the information for the layman user how to tips and tricks for privacy. And I'm sure this video is going to hit, and it will be very useful for me. At least it was very useful, and definitely for the subscribers and the learners, they will find this video definitely useful. And one suggestion from my side, or you can say one advice: keep your content continuously with the same pattern that you do, and it really inspired me. At least I have seen your content, and it make me more motivated to read more about the privacy. And guys, if you want to check Aparna content, you can follow her on a LinkedIn. She regularly posts a privacy meme also with some references which give the very good connect about how the privacy works. And I'm sure I think if people want to reach out to Aparna, they can reach out on LinkedIn, and she can happy to help you with the things, because the challenges what she face might be that challenges, what are the action plan cheat sheets that she have used, she might share with you for your growth and all that. Because I can see from her profile content and all that she's very active on the promotions of contents, privacies and all that. So I'm sure she will definitely help you with the privacy supports and everything. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking out this time for this session. And I'm sure, as we said earlier, that okay, I'm sure you will planning to launch some learning materials in the future with your experience. And I'm looking forward. I will be the first user who going to view that videos, and I'm sure that videos will going to inspire a lot of privacy specialists.
Thank you, Prab. Thanks very much. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I thank all the viewers also. Please do reach out to me, and happy to connect. And thank you again, Prab. It's wonderful to have be here.
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you so much.